Happy Tuesday. I see Brooke and Shannon and Christy and Robin and Tony. How are y'all doing today?
And Jackie. Hey, so guys, you guys can unmute and talk to us. We would love for you to talk to us.
Hey guys, how are you? Missed you the last couple of weeks.
Good. Hi, Tony. How are you? Oh, I
Good
think
morning.
Hey,
we
Brooke.
lost you, Tony.
Oh, I said it's a little warm, but we're good. We're good.
Yeah. Yeah. The heat dome. My husband was telling me about the heat dome, I guess. It's
Yeah. It's
over
a
a
little
lot.
right. A little easier to take since we've had some moisture though. So
Yeah, for sure.
Brooke had a good weekend.
Yay. Yes.
Yay.
It was fun and accomplished goals and feel like keeping my head on me now. My brain stayed with me.
Perfect. I loved your video, Brooke, and your hair looks amazing.
Thanks.
So, yes, I hope everyone had a great 4th. Leanna is feeling under the weather today. Ashley is on the road, so she's in and out of service. So you get Lori and I today. So we really would like for you guys to talk to us. If you got questions, this is a community that we can all share and talk. So, but we absolutely want to hear from you guys, hear how your weekend was. We have a few things to go over. We did a live on Sunday. I don't know if you guys got to watch that or not, but Leanna and I talked about some other stuff that we're going to be talking about again. So, but yeah, if you guys have questions or want to have input, please, by all means, feel free to jump in. All right, I'm letting more people in, Lori.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and dive in. Whenever I wasn't able to be on live on Sunday with Sunny and Leanna, but it really hit home some of the stuff they were talking about, and just made me think about how important it is that we hear these neuroscience related terms like the terminology, and so for me in the beginning, some of that just went right over, right? And so just what we wanted to do today, with it being me and Sunny, is kind of expand on what they talked about on Sunday, and like actual life examples, right? How that works, what's going on, and things that you can do, things that I know Sunny and I have both been able to practice and test ourselves, that has been really transformative for us as individuals, and just kind of expand on that, and give some layman's terms of some of these things that are actually doable, that you can start working toward, which I know some of you have already started some of those things. But just, I feel like for me personally, like hearing things again, and new examples, and things can help that awareness that we're looking for, right? That to be able to achieve, to really make an impact. And so one of the first things that I took note of when I was listening back to their live they did is, Sunny, I'll let you kind of retouch on it, but what Sunny was talking about, how she's been just trying harder, and try harder and try harder and try harder, right? If you're not getting exactly the result that you want in something. And I have definitely done that. And Leanna said that she, in one of her studies, like one of her mentors would say, try softer. So instead of trying harder, can you try softer? Or this made me think of ways that I've kind of thought about it in the past, and I try to now whenever I have a lot on my plate, and you're just going through the to-do list, go 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 go. Can you try relaxed, right? Are you trying in a feasible way? Like, is it really feasible for one person to do all the things that you've taken on? And even how do you try, like you keep that drive and determination, how do you, and keep trying, but in a healthy way? Okay. So then Leanna said also, like, you have to allow the space for achievement to come in. So if you're just striving and just the only goal, the only focus is to check things off the to-do list, are you allowing the space for achievement of your goals and things that you're trying to accomplish to actually come in? And so, Sunny, I don't know if you want to kind of retouch on what you were saying on
Yeah.
Sunday.
So a lot of you guys know I've been running. Usually I run once or twice a weekend. And like, we're just this far out of it, And I'm like, oh, and I'm so confident and I know we can do it. And I'm like, oh, just, we got this. Like, oh, we're ready. And I'm a very big, like, I'm very competitive too. But every run, there was just one thing that would go wrong that kept us out. And I'm like, okay, we can do this, And so I had talked to Leanna and she's like, yeah, we need to try softer. So last night I was up at another rodeo and definitely went in with a different attitude of gratitude, to where I was, I've been relaxed, but let's go. So my gratitude actually helped me. I was breathing fine, I'm relaxed, but it really helped me settle even that much more. And she made a outstanding run. So that actually helped Dottie as well, because Dottie was getting a little more anxious. And I went to another jackpot on the 4th, and I would go ride her up to the arena. And partly it was for me too. I'd ride her up there to the gate and I'd get off and I'd uncinch her. We'd stand there and we'd look around, and then I would walk all the way back to the trailer, cinch her, do it again. And she's like, all right, I got this. But I think also it was for me, because instead of me trying harder, I'm like, hey, we've got this. We've got this. And so that helped me try softer. And it worked for us a lot better last night as well.
Yeah. So, and taking the time, and what, Dot, like you said, it was for you too, but you addressed where Dottie was, right? She was amped up and things. And so instead of just forcing her to stay right there, you created that space for her. And I think it also helped, kind of create that space for you by did the uncinching and then walking her out and walking her back in. And when you were saying that on the live, the first thing I thought when you told that, what you did there, like walking her out back in, uncinching, I just thought you just did something amazing for your horse. But how do we do that for ourselves? I mean, I don't always, so how do we to get that awareness when we're kind of, getting in that tense state, or we're amped up about something? The more we can practice these things, the faster we'll become aware when we get to that state, and we can do practical things like walking and taking some of the pressure off. And we're going to talk about some more things today too, but that really
Lori,
blew my mind.
I have a little testimonial before I draw. I might super late. My brother-in-law has a newborn baby. He's 5 weeks old, and I was like, I'll watch him yesterday. Well, Mama leaves, and then and then of course he starts crying, right? And I'm like, oh boy, and it's me and my other sister-in-law, and I remember, like, Leanna, like, the baby, just like a horse or another human or your friend or your spouse or whatever, your kiddo, they can feel that tension, right? And so I'm like, still kind of stressed out, holding the baby, like, please calm down, please calm down. And then I was like, wait, Ashley, no, come on. Deanna's voice, right? Like, feel the ground beneath your feet, soften the spine. Where are you holding tension, Ashley? Like, as soon as I did those things and scanned through my body and opened up my breath and relaxed everything, then he's like, then he could relax and finally fell asleep. And I was like, see, look, I just did it with the newborn baby. So that's what we're saying. Like, this stuff is used in all facets of life, right? Where is the tension? Like, am I having a meltdown, right? Figuring out, I think for me, the biggest thing was where I was holding it in my chest. Like, as soon as I recognized where the tension was and got my breath going through that area, just everything relaxed. So I had to share that before I dropped the call because I was like, that's a real life one from yesterday.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, and then that's
like Kevin had put in the comments, you can't be anxious and grateful at the same time. So like you can't be anxious and calm and hold that baby at the same time.
Because they know and they're going to call you out. They're going to be like, Ashley, you're pretending to be chill, but your being is telling me something very different.
yeah,
Dang.
for sure.
All right, I'm
So
not going to lose you guys.
That's awesome, Ashley. Well, that actually goes right into the next thing that I was going to talk about. So, Leanna, she mentioned the technical term is embodied cognition, right? So how do our bodies process what we're, the cognitive aspect of things going on in our environment. So the simple way is our movement and position of our bodies affect our thoughts, like you were saying, right? It's your energy and your thoughts are kind of connected to that. And so, Leanna also mentioned our bodies and our nervous systems, they respond to things in the environment in nanoseconds, well before thoughts even have time to form about them, right? And so that's just part of our experiences, like she has mentioned before, they shape how our bodies respond to something before we can even think about it. So, there are teachings out there about just having positive thoughts, right? So sometimes you think, okay, you're trying to think positive, but it feels impossible. That's because your body, something has pre-programmed your body to have that, some sort of tension or a negative expectation or concern about something. So it's not as simple as just changing your thoughts. The two really feed on each other. I was reading about, there's a bottom up approach to handling, stress and things in your environment, and top down. So working on it, identifying things and doing different things with your body to better handle a situation, or top down would be starting with your thoughts and then your body. But I feel like what, the way Leanna teaches, the things that have impacted us as individuals, what we've learned from Leanna is really it's both, and they can feed on each other. So the more you can be aware of what your body is doing to react to something, and it could be as simple as, just if you're having a stressful day, things with work, things with the kids, somebody asking something of you, having an overwhelming to-do list. It could be with your hobby, like, or profession, like barrel racing, trail riding. I mean, this goes, like Ashley said, it's newborn babies, right? So being able to have that awareness over time, quicker and quicker, will help you kind of rewire the way your body reacts to certain things in life. And over time, this is my testimony, over time, your body you're quicker to have that awareness and to understand what's happening inside your own body and inside your own mind. And you start to change that. So those moments where your stress peaks, they start getting shorter and shorter and shorter because you notice it. And then you have practical things that you can do that can address it and kind of bring you down from that. So, Sunny, do you have anything you want to add
Yeah.
there?
So even though we talk like scientific terms, let me give you some examples of embodied cognition. Uh, Gesturing while you're speaking, you use your hands. My brother always said that I would go mute if I sat on my hands because I can't talk without my hands. But it's also when you, that's why like when I taught, I would make kids write more than type, because when you actually write it down, it goes to your brain. That physical movement goes to your brain, and then it gets in your brain. When you're typing, it's just repetitive finger motions, and it doesn't always go uh, to your brain. So that is why we tell people like to write stuff down. It actually is embodied cognition. You're thinking about it and you're doing it. As you can see, I still talk a lot with my hands. So, but there's also like when you teach, you can hear it, um, you can write it, but when you do it, when you actually do a tactile motion, you are more likely to understand it. So that is, even though gesturing while you're speaking, just doing something, if I do it, I'm like, oh, got it. I got it. So, so that's one. It like journaling, absolutely. People that journal can, it's like a freeing experience. And some people said, well, but if I write everything down, I don't want people to read what I wrote. Perfect. Write it down, tear it out, throw it away. You wrote it down, it's in your here, it's in your heart. Sometimes you got to get it out. You journaled, throw it away. So I'm going to have Lori speak on this next one because it's physical warmth affects your perception. And I'm not a coffee drinker, uh, but I know people who are.
Yes, I'm definitely a coffee drinker. It might be a problem, but that I think that makes sense as to why I love, holding my warm cup of coffee in the morning. And I know there are a lot of people that love iced coffee now, but I can't do it. But I love my warm cup of coffee, even if it's 100 degrees outside, like it is every day, just about here where I live. The other thing is she mentioned like a warm cup of coffee or a warm blanket. We keep our house fairly cool in the summer, especially we drop it down when we sleep at night. But I have always been an electric blanket person. I don't keep it on all night, but I like getting into a warm bed, and that makes a lot of sense too. There's comfort there. There's just like this unspoken, unrealized comfort in holding a warm cup of coffee and like getting into a warm bed. And so it made a lot of sense. It hit home for me when she was talking about that.
Yeah, and also it talks about psychological warmth, which I thought that was, and you will perceive people more as more generous when you've got that warm, fuzzy feeling
Mm.
about people. And so, has anybody, like, does that resonate with anybody? You feel free to unmute and talk to us if any of that does resonate with you.
Yes, some people whose energy you just love to be around, and everything in life feels better when you're around them. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I love, well, and that's my team, like the Worthy Cowgirl team, that I just, it's such a blessing when I actually get to go be with them down in Texas. And so, yeah, I know that is amazing.
I am about to have to get off because my phone's about to die. I hope it's okay that I just dropped in on you guys today.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I just love your group so much. And I just had a moment and I was like, I'm going to see what they're doing over there. There's several things that you've said that have come to mind. And before my phone dies, I'd like to just speak to it. You mentioned in the first part, like being softer. And the first thing I thought of is soft like water. And there's an author that wrote an incredible book. I highly recommend it to many clients, actually. It's Soft Like Water. And it's her approach to this somatic work. And if you think of water, water has a path, right? And it takes the path of least resistance. And that's often how the brain and the body works. It's taking the path of least resistance. And when you're working through your subconscious, the path of least resistance can often be the things that you may or may not truly want or desire, but it's the pattern at which the body holds. But when you bring it into your being and your doing, because what we think is different than who we are embodied is who we are. And so we're able to bring it into our like cognition and say, I still want to be soft like water. I still want to flow, and I want it to flow over me, but I might have to create some soft resistance. And that has been life changing for me. Like, that's part of why I got into this work myself. The other thing that I thought of when y'all were speaking to this, the warmth and the coolness, that they both serve the body. And it's because the body's ability to sense is one of the greatest languages that the body has. To sense your energy, to sense my energy, it's literal language that we all know. Whether we think we know it or not, we know it. So when we come to someone and they're warm, it's their language. Their body is literally talking to you, and you're getting it and you're jiving with it. And you're like, we're the same, or maybe we're different. Maybe you think someone's cold and you just need to get to know them, right? Because you like warmth, but it doesn't mean that coolness is necessarily bad. It just means it's different and your body can sense it. So the more that we become relational with warmth, with cool, with tension, or even with softness, it's the relationship that changes everything. It's not even that one way is better or worse, if that makes sense, but it's the ability to have relationship with it that gives the body safety. Those are my takeaways from the things that you were saying.
That is incredible. And when you're talking about the flow of the water, I thought about your flow state. When you're in your flow state, how things are just flowing so easily. Absolutely. Thank you, Andrea. Bye. Anybody else? Shannon, did you have something more?
When she said who we are embodied is who you really are, that was a big aha moment there.
Yes.
Yeah, I hadn't considered it in that way, because you're right, you have perception of self versus what may actually be.
Yes. Absolutely. And I always perceive myself as a happy-go-lucky person. And I just got home this morning. My family's headed, the guys they're all headed to the mountains because we have cattle out, and I had to catch other horses and just kind of running around. And I had a young horse and another horse ran into him and knocked me into the panels. And I was like, oh, and my husband's like, did they make you mad? And I'm like, no. And so I'm like, no, I'm not that person. I need to go back.
Yeah.
So,
Well, another thing it made me think about is that, I've mentioned on here before that. So I went through an abusive marriage, very much roller coaster, like good, very bad, good, very bad, over a period of years. And I was always, I've always been a very trusting person. So like when Andrew was talking about, you walk up to somebody and you're like, your energy is already speaking, right? You can feel whether there's, alignment there or the opposite of that. Right. But I've always been a very trusting person. And, going through that experience, and it doesn't have to be an abusive situation. It can be, it could be a number of things, right? Just negative experiences, but I think it really hindered my trust, the ability to trust people. And it put some walls up that I wasn't, like you say, you're naturally happy go lucky. I'm naturally like trusting and engaging, and I love meeting new people and talking to new people. And what I found, and I didn't realize until it was really too late, is that I had built up these walls, because it took away from that trust that I had, and that, the desire to get to know new people and things, because there were these flags, right? There's always, well, is this a flag, or is this person real, or that, you know what I'm saying? Is this real, or are they fake, or whatever? So the things that I have learned really helped me open back up, and more, like you said, Shannon, like like who I am actually embodied, kind of to bring that back, some things that got taken away because of negative experiences, you know?
Yeah. I wanted to go over a couple more of our embodied cognition, power posing and posture. I have teaching junior high kids in high school, or teaching teenagers. They're pretty good about reading body language. And so whenever I'd walk into a classroom, it was always shoulder back. I am in charge because I am not letting you guys walk over me. And I think we had talked about that. We touched about that last week, touched on it. And somebody says that they had a hard time doing that. And you know what? I walk into the grocery store with my shoulders back, my power posing. I practice that all the time. And it's gotten to be that's just how I walk now. Because I used to have a little girl that would come up to my desk to ask questions, and her head was down, her shoulders were down, and I'm like, we don't mope in this room. Okay. If you have a question, go back. And I told her, I would joke with her. I'm like, now I want you to skip up here to ask me a question. And she would laugh and skip up there, just because I knew that changing your posture can change the way you think as well. And so if anybody has, like they have a hard time doing it, do it at home. Walk to the barn. Just anytime, do it. Just go for a walk and do it to see how different you feel. Because as soon as you put your shoulders back, take that deep breath, you feel better. And so I was going to add, does anyone have comments on that?
Yeah, I just want to add, I think when Sunny and I were talking about this, before the meeting, she had said, walk into the grocery store like that, because you know what? Nobody's going to know what you're doing, right? Test it there and see how you feel.
Absolutely. And I had actually, Shannon Weeks had talked about, Tony Robbins talks about that a lot. And I actually got to go to one of Tony's events. And before, like if I've got a big phone call coming up, if there's something big that I really need to do, I do my Superman pose. You may feel funny, but it does help. And if you're somewhere where you can do a Superman pose, just strike your pose, whatever it is, it does. It makes you feel that much more confident. So, we also talked about walking for creativity. And Leanna talks a lot about walking, and that bilateral movement will clear the brain. People talk, I need to go for a walk and to clear my head. And that's exactly what it does, is that bilateral movement. You start to use both sides of your brain. That will help clear your brain. Now you're not in one side or the other, you're using both sides to help that. And that's it's embodied cognition, even though it's a scientific term. Guys, we can go walk, and that will also help clear your head. So, is there any walkers out there that like every day you go out for a walk?
I do. And another thing with movement, you're talking, I was thinking about, because as most you know, I'm going through this healing phase right now of my body. And there's days like, not last night, but the night before, I was detoxing really hard and not feeling very good. But the more I sit in it, literally and emotionally, the worse I get. I can rest for a minute, but then I start just saying, like, nope, every cell in my body is happy, every cell in my body is healthy, like God created me to heal, and I get back up, and it's like, man, you can really make yourself more sick, right? By sitting in it and how you think. When I get up and move through it, like Leanna talks about, right? Movement is medicine. I feel so much better. Because I could definitely get myself in a real dark place sitting in some of this healing place I've been in. So that's been for me too. Like, nope, I'm healthy, I'm healed, like I'm full, like by his stripes I'm healed. Like I just speak and declare it over myself and get moving again. It's like I get a second wind, right? So that's been helping me through this phase I'm in. Sure, moving and walking it out, right? Like if I can't go get on my horse, well, then I'm going to walk and be around my horse, just doing something. So I definitely resonate with this area.
Perfect.
Yeah. And that can be, I mean, so whether you're going through something, as big as what Ashley's going through with her healing, or even just little daily stresses, y'all, that's what I'm talking about. Like if you just are, you're at your desk or whatever you do for your daily work, and you have these stressors coming, even small ones, you can take a break and walk, get moving, do your power pose, things like that, and get that movement going to just kind of decompress from any even small stressful moments. And that's been a game changer for me. I used to be one to just hunker down and just go, 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 go without stopping. And now what I've realized is I'm more productive. I'm more clear headed. My thoughts don't go negative as quickly whenever there are issues or things to work through. If I pause and go for a walk or take a break, rest for a few minutes, right? And so I'm actually more productive if I do those pauses and those movements.
All right. And then the last one that we have, when I read this one, and so I'm going to talk about this, but then I also want to go back to Jamie too, because she said she's working with, so Jamie, get ready. I'm going to talk to you here soon. The last one, it almost cracked me up because it talks about facial expression, shape, emotion. And there's so many of those memes. I'm sorry for what my face has said. But I've always worked on smiling. That's kind of, with my name being Sunny, that it wouldn't fit my personality to be grumpy if my name's Sunny. So I try to live up to my name. But yeah, and like after I got slammed into the fence, I'm like walking. My husband said some comment, and I started laughing, and things just got better. So, but how many people have that resting face? A lot. And so if you can work on smiling a lot, you do feel better. And when I used to teach, I would bark at a kid, turn around, smile, and go back to teaching. And sometimes it would really freak the kids out because how could I go from happy-go-lucky to mad, discipline a kid, back to being happy? And they're like, is she crazy? And I'm like, yeah, I am crazy. So absolutely work on your facial expressions too. All right, Miss Jamie. And Jamie, I actually know Jamie because her daughter used to be in my class.
Yes, she did. And you've watched her compete at some rodeos. And yeah, she actually is just walking by now. I think she's headed out to ride. Say hi to Sunny.
Hello.
Anyway, yeah, we just got back from National Little Britches finals. And right before that, some friends of ours were at National Junior High finals. And just trying to work with them to regulate and calm down, even though I'm calm, I'm fine, really, because your horse is acting a fool. So that's telling me they're reading you. Your face might look relaxed, but inside your horse can feel what's going on with you, because we know the horse well enough and the kid well enough to be able to say these things. So to have them just do, if I can get them to get off their horse and do jumping jacks. I know that even Jace went through some things and I said, kid, your brain's not firing on all sides. Like I can see it physically on you, and now you're riding and I can see it. And Jacelin's horse wasn't super nervous or whatever, but just trying to get them to, you know, cross their arms and touch up and down and get off and do jumping jacks. And you can kind of see the kids, I don't know, it's kind of their eye structure, whatever it is that you can physically see it, then they're calmer and more just resonated with themselves. They can do more on the horses. It's really cool. And I'm really enjoying being able to share that with them at such a young age, even though, like I said, I'm convinced that they think I'm just trying to make them look like idiots because, you know, when you're a teenager, you have to be so cool. So,
you know what's so cool? Another thing, Jamie, I was thinking about with you is one thing that helped me, and I think me and Sunny have talked about this with the nerves, is when they go, instead of, and actually it was Daniel, Leanna's husband, he's like, no, it's stop calling it, I'm nervous, I'm so nervous. Like, I'm excited. Like, this is fire. Like, I'm feeling excitement. Because, right, like Leanna talks about, like, there's the healthy adrenaline, the healthy excitement. Like, nerves aren't a bad thing. It's how we channel it, move through it, right? So when you call it something else instead of hyper fixating on I am nervous, it's I am excited. And when I was doing that the last time I wrote Top it was like, I don't know, I started getting like pulled jig to me. And then it was like, then we were dancing together when I was on and when it was getting real hot, right? But just calling it something else helps shift the brain where it's not like this fear-based thing, right? Like, that's what helped me so much and will help me again. So you have to try that one too, Jamie, with those kiddos.
Yes.
Like that, I'll definitely go that sure, because I think as a society we're labeled nervous is something bad, but I think going for the I can see you're really excited, let's channel that the right way. That's probably a much better approach. Thank you.
One thing I would tell my students, I'd see a student upset, mad, and I'd walk right up to them and I go, do you know you cannot be mad and shake your booty at the same time? And they would look at me and I go, try it. And they would go, they would start, they wouldn't even get to that point. Just thinking about it, they couldn't be mad and even think about shaking their booty. And they're like, Mrs. Oker. And they turn around and walk off. But that is a proven fact. You cannot be mad and shake your booty at the same time. So, but we do have some different things that we have gone over in the past that, and we'll send this out on for a download, but some practical things that you can use to get yourself back to where you need to be. So if your heart is racing, you're anxious, overwhelmed, you know, you can't slow down, there's like 4 things that you can do to help that. And one is that extended exhale. You breathe in for 4 counts and then breathe out for 6 to 8. Just slow your breathing down. And you don't have to write these down because we'll send it out as a download for you guys. So that extended breathing, and you can tell when horses do that too, because they take that deep breath, they go, and you know that they have slowed down as well. One that I do a lot at the rodeos is looking around. And I will look over here to first barrel. I look over here to second barrel. I look to see like the out gate. I look over here because when you're looking around, your head, when you're looking around, you feel safe. If all you see is this, you don't see anything else, you've got that tunnel vision, you're not feeling safe again. But yeah, look around. If you are feeling the anxious, just look it around. Shake it off. Shake your booty. Sometimes you just have to, yeah. That also helps make you feel better. Just getting all that excess energy out. Okay. And then cold water. When we've had kids that are kind of on the edge, we've asked them, go run cold water over your face or over your wrists. It will help also calm you down. Okay. And then the feet on the floor. That has been life-changing, to just go outside, walk on the ground, take your shoes off, press your feet down on the floor. That will also help you come back to your present moment. So those are a few things that will help when you're that anxious heart rate going. Sometimes you're just feeling blah, numb, kind of tired, kind of heavy. Walking, swaying back and forth, that kind of helps wake your body up slowly. Sometimes if you jump out of bed, sometimes you're like kind of a little disoriented, but most of the time when you get out of bed, you just kind of walk slowly, let your body wake up again. But just that movement. And a lot of times I've noticed Leanna will be talking and I'll just start swaying. So just that rocking back and forth, either way, or take a slow walk. Okay, another one that I have been working on is humming. And the cool thing is you can have the radio on, people around you, and you can hum. And that also stimulates your vagus nerve, and that will also help calm you down. Because the two things, like Ashley was talking about with her baby, her nephew, you hum and you sway, and that calms that baby down. And so it's like we know how to do these things, but we forget in our adult life until we go back to the babies. Also, being out in the sunlight, riding horses, I think that is been one of the best things a lot of people do to go relax. Just go get on your horse, be with your horse in the sun. And then one last thing is do one small thing. Make tea, write 3 words, text somebody that you care about, just reach out to somebody else. So those little small things will help you kind of get going again. So I hope that helps everybody on just some things that you could do, practical things that you can do that will help you go from anxious or numb back to being yourself again with a smile on your face. All right. Well, Kevin, you had your hand up.
Hey, everybody. I'm out here walking my lawnmower. Physiologically, so I used to jump out of airplanes, and the Army sends you to this thing called the hyperbaric chamber. They suck all the oxygen out, and they simulate you're at high altitude and how that affects your body. Okay, so that's the long story short of it. You were talking about tunnel vision. When you're tight, you're not breathing like you should be. Your stomach's all tight, so you're depriving yourself of oxygen or whatever it is we breathe. I'm in the South right now, so it's mostly water in the air. But anyways, so what happens when you're getting hypoxic is first you lose color, and then this tunnel starts. You get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and then they put you back on oxygen, and it goes, and all the colors come back. So breathing is really important when they talk about exhaling longer and breathing in, but you have to remember, you have to kind of come to that spot where, look, I am not breathing, or I'm mad and I need to breathe, and big deep breath, exhale. But your body physiologically, needs to have you breathing so you can think.
Absolutely.
Singing helps, humming helps, all those things. Okay, so I'm off. I'm out.
All right. Thanks, Kevin.
True. And
Lori?
that makes me think too about the importance of that eye movement, right? So, yes, breathe, but it's true. Even little day-to-day stresses, it can tunnel our vision, where we're just so focused in and feeling that overwhelm or that high level of stress and anxiety that it helps to do the exercises Leanne has been walking us through recently, which is, moving your eyes around the room, like looking straight ahead and then intentionally, exercising your peripheral vision, expanding your vision out. That's going to help too. It's the eye movement is part of the movement exercises that can help kind of reset whenever you're feeling those flags or that tension. So, okay.
All right. Lori, would you close this out?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So before we wrap, I wanted to share a quick update. So over the past couple of weeks, one thing has definitely become clear to us. We don't want just to build a membership. That's not the sole thing, right? We want as many women as possible to have an opportunity to experience what this is all about, because it has transformed things for us and the way we can handle stress and just move through life. And we want that same thing for you all. And so we're excited to offer a complimentary 30-day membership with every purchase from our new Worthy Cowgirl collection. And so that's going to be going forward. Then, because we're so grateful for everybody who bought, and I have mine on today, one of my Worthy Wear shirts, that we're super grateful to everybody who, supported our first launch. And so we're going to extend that same 30-day gift to each of you as well, just as a way of saying thank you. And, our heart is to help women experience peace, healing, connection, and this genuine community, right? So we hope this gives even more women the opportunity to experience what we're building together. So I just wanted to say that. And if you are part of that first Worthy Wear launch, you'll look for an email. It should go out before 5:00 today. And so it'll have the information and a link in there for you. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that and just say thank you. We are so appreciative and we're excited for the things to come. And we really do want to make it available for as many women as possible to come in and learn these things and help feel the transformation that can happen.
All right. Thank you, Lori. Thanks everybody for
Do we have a link for people right now, Lori? Do we have a link we could drop right now if people want it?
It's going to go out and it'll go out in the email.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If somebody, yeah, no, it's all good. And like I said, it's going forward. So if you haven't gotten Worthy Wear yet, if you want to go shop, we dropped our new collection, the New Horizon collection. We've got new shirts, t-shirts, tanks, and some really cool hats that we love. So if you wanted to go to shopworthycowgirl.com and get yours, you'll see an invitation after you do that. And then I just wanted everybody to know too, that if you, bought the Worthy American Spirit stuff, you'll be receiving that invitation as well. Okay.
All right.
Thank you guys so much for coming today and with me and Sunny and Ash on the road, and say a little prayer with us for Leanna, that she's all better.
Yes. So everybody have a great week going forward, and absolutely practice some of these things, any one of them, and we'll ask next week, see which ones you practice. So have a great week, everyone.